Hello, hello, hello. The interlude. That was a good old interlude, wasn't it? Right, all I'm doing, got my watercolour paper. Oh, wait. Look at that. That's impossible. Anyway, yeah, I've got a piece of watercolour paper down. This is still a little bit too big. And if you're in my group for Patreon, you will have received the PDF that is the sort of detail of what I'm doing today, because it's all about abstraction. Okay, so if you're a bit unsure what abstraction is, it's like you think of subtraction, where you take stuff. Abstracting it is to take elements and to me make it bigger and bigger and bigger, so that you no longer see the main picture, you see elements of it. So you're taking elements out and enlarging them. And it's really funny because Linda, lovely Linda, was on today and she said that was her favourite one, and it's really strange and I'm doing it today. So we've been doing jellyfish, right? Okay, so I'll just show you what I mean by abstraction. This is some work I'm doing at the moment for my Patreons. It's a couple of hours long, but I really love doing it. And this is what we're going to be doing today. So this is abstraction. This is where I've looked at elements. I've added colour from the colour cubes with, you know, Sarah Renee Clark, which I love. It really helps me with colours, and a bit of glitz on it. And yeah, it's just really interesting now, and that's a colour swatch when I'm cleaning my brushes. So we're going to do something slightly similar, well, very similar but slightly different. So what I've done is I've created my book, and I'm going to be doing this. So, and then I'm going to be binding it. Now it's really thick paper, this, so it's up to you whether you bind it or not. But yeah, I love the idea of the colours being formed by sets and stuff, but you will see there's some that look very different. And this is abstraction. It's taking an element of a drawing and blowing it up. And you might think, well, how do I do that? It's really simple. You get a window mount, which is a piece of paper. You cut a square out, plonk that on your drawing. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. And if you're a bit unsure, say if I was to do it in this, all it would mean is that I would take a knife and cut that out there, then get my image and then put my viewfinder on it, and then I would isolate that area. I mean, I've got some really fancy drawings that I've given as a viewfinder, as a detail for the viewfinder. However, you may sort of think, oh, I'm not too sure about that. So we can start with a little bit of this. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a piece of spare card and just show you what a window mount is. Rubbish. Ah, there it is. So get a piece of cheap paper, nothing fancy. Then just cut a piece on the fold. You don't need a big bit. Now, it's up to you how big your window mount is. Do a skew. Do different shapes, you know, if you wanted to. So I wanted to do I'd get a punch for this, really. Okay, oh, it's a bit of a love art. So I've got my shapes. Okay, so now what I do, you can also get an area of some sort of rule or like stencil, and you can do that as well. Keep these little bits because you don't need them. So then you take your image and you think, oh, right, okay, which area looks interesting, which area will we do, and which area will we abstract? Now, I have got the drawings for you to use on my Patreon, so if you wish to use them, then that's cool. If not, we can use these. So I have got some A. No, it's not even A7 because it's too long. It's double A7. Yes, double A7. So I've got some tape. Now I'm not going to do this to. Oh, that's not good. So sorry. So sorry. So I'm just going to take one. I'm a bit giddy getting two. I've not even said hello to people. I will do. So a bit there. And I'm using the edge of the paper as the straight line. Now, with this in mind, you can do as many as you want. Okay. Now, while I'm doing that, and I hope you're doing it too, let's have a quick hello. Oh. Right. You know, I just went to Asda, right? And I'm like, oh, no, I'll only take a small bag. I don't need it. Oh, you know, when you come out, you're like, why didn't I take a big bag? Right, okay, it's a bit like this. Why didn't I get the big table out? So, hello, Angela. Hello, Susan. Hello, Facebook users. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Emma. Oh, hi, Angela. Oh, do you know what? It's my muckers. Cutting up my knickers. Yeah, my knickers. That's nicer than my knickers. Yeah, well, they are my knickers. Look, a bit wet. No, I didn't say that. Didn't say that. Right. What we can. No, I did. I really did not say that, did I? You silly woman. Right. So what I've got here is my strip. Now I can use it like this, or I can cut it. Well, not cut it up, but I can divide it up like I did with the others, which I think is quite nice because you get two drawings for one. So it doesn't really matter where it is. Remember though, if that's on the fold, I'll show you here, you have to put two pieces on to make it right. Okay, so let's have a quick look. So I'm looking at maybe a piece of my work. I have given you some that I've already done as a starting point. You don't, please don't think you have to use mine. You don't. It's just there for you if you wish to use it. I'm looking for something interesting, right? So with this being quite a big long piece, I want something that when I draw it, oh, I like that bit there. I'm going to draw that size on there. Yeah, so I'm going to bring you down a little bit. So now what you can do, just get a little bit of tape and just remember it's on your artwork. So get a new bit, you tight sod. Right. So let's get this where I want it. Ah, there. I quite like that. And I'm just going to put that there. Okay. So I've got like a window mount on it. So just going to put that there. No, I'm not going to put it there. Like that. Can you still see? Yay. Right. So I'm going to transfer what I've got on there on here. Now, it doesn't have to be exact. It really doesn't. I've got some watercolours. I've also got my Ecolines as well. So I will perhaps go into that. Maybe not. So I'm looking at this and I'm looking at, there's a little mark there and there's a little mark here and a little mark here, little mark there. And all I'm doing is passing the information on here. So I'm looking at these marks. Now you've all seen me do this before, and if you're new, there's loads of videos with me doing this. So you can see I'm transferring the marks that I've got there. It might be a bit out that, put that there, put that there, that there, and that there, and I can start to transfer. So that looks like that. That comes down there. that comes up here. That comes like that. Now that looks so shoddy. Yeah, this is fantastic one. It's not cheap, but yeah, I got it from Highlights. Really cool. So there, 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 and there. So I'm going to put the shapes in now because these are not the shapes that are in there. Okay, so now the thing is, I'm going to cover these with pen, so they will look different. Okay, so bear in mind that when we do this with pencil, if you don't get rid of that mark, it will stay. So you need to be, you know, relatively sure that's what you want. Then you get a black pen, and this is not going to be the last one. You will use other black pens on top of it. But remember that any watercolor on top of water, any paint, watercolor, anything on top of pencil will stay. So I'm going to just mark this in where I want it. And I'm just going to be a bit more sort of fluid, trusting that it'll be all right on the night. So I've got that one. I've gone over with a double line. And again, anyone who doesn't know me, there's a reason for that. Right. So got that now. I can rub out all the other bits that I don't need. That's it's not me pump it. Get back in. Right. Okay, so I've got that. Now you choose your paints or whatever you want. And then we go like that. So just let me finish this and then. Right, sorry about that. That was the lovely person, a lovely friend. She didn't realise. So what I'm going to do now is going to put some colour on, okay? Now I've been using all sorts of watercolours and I've been trying out different ones and, you know, different watercolours for different people. So I have got some new ones which I'd like to try, but I'm going to do a different one for that. So I thought what we'd do is we'll get some Ecoline pens out. So I'm just going to get out some colours. Oh, they're nice, aren't they? That might help. And I'm going to go with them. Okay, so I'm just going to choose these colours. Don't overthink it because it will get boring. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that just a little bit there. I'm going to get my brush, and there's several ways of using these. And I'm just going to show you one way. Why did I use this brush? Now, I'm doing it very lightly. Like that. So it's only a very light coat. I don't want it to be too heavy because I've got ideas that I want to put on top, and I don't want to overload the colour. I want, you know, I want the colour to be in the background. Looks a bit iffy like this, but don't worry, trust it, trust the details, right? So, you know, maybe if you wanted to, you could bring in that and just bring in a little bit of a, like that. So the next one is yellow. This is only the first layer, okay? The first that I'm going to lay down. Like, you can put a bit on there. Now, you have to know your watercolour paper for this, because some grab that so fast it's done and dusted before you even know it. So here I'm looking at this colour. I've got a yellow, I've got a deep red. So now let's choose. I know I'm going to go with a beige. So I'm going to use a watercolour, and that's what's nice to know, that you can now take there you go, just a beige in the middle. You can hardly see that grey, so I might put another one on. So this is it's Jaune. So what I might do, just to give that a bit more poke, just do that to give it that. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy with that. That's my eco lines. I've got a little bit of colour in there that I want to intensify, actually. So I just put a little bit of colour in that. I don't like that brush I was using, only because it's not fit for purpose. It's a great brush, but not for what I want. There you go. I'm adding a little bit more colour to it. And I am being quick. I am being really quick, because if I'm not, chances are it will stay in like it is doing there. So what I need to do is, I'm using the brush, and this is a Matthew Palmer brush. I love his brushes. And I'm just bringing that on to make it part of it. And then the yellow, I'm going to put a bit of yellow on there. And I've got a really nice fan brush. And I'm just going to go now. This is from the pound shop, and it's one of them nail things. So no expense spared, is there? So that's one side done. I'm going to move this back. While that dries, I'm going to move on to this one. Okay, so if you're in my Patreon, you'll have noticed that there's the PDF, and the PDF shows you what I am actually doing. But it actually shows you more of a parts and elements of my drawings that you can use, because I'm not sure whether, you know, some of the drawings, they may not be for public use, so I've made sure I draw my own. So here what I'm doing is I'm looking at another piece. I'm not going to put it on there because it'll bore you, so I'm just going to get my piece on here, draw straight on. Now I'm looking at the piece I've got, and it's got like tiny like shell shapes. So I just have to make sure. There we go. I don't want it to look like an eyeball, and it does. So I need to, well, it does look like an eyeball. So what I need to do is just give it a bit of like that. So we've got some wobbly lines, and then Okay, quite like that as it is. Leave it. It's the tentacles on the jellyfish, believe it or not. And then I'm going to choose some colours that I've already got, and the colours I've already got from another piece of work are pink and brown. So I'm going to go with pink and brown. I'm using opera pink watercolour. I'm using dark umber. I'm using a little bit of green and the cream. And I'm going to get a grey. And it's a warm grey. Very simple. These are nice, bright, juicy colours that I can add. Here, I'm getting a bit more colourful. No, colour range, sorry. So I'm going to choose 3 areas. Very quickly. I'm going to look to see where they don't touch. My mum with kids, it's like draw a picture, they can't touch. There we go. So I've got that. So now I'm going to go in with a pink. And I've got another pink here. It's got a really strange name and it's not a very popular colour, but I absolutely love it. So this is opera pink, which reminds me of ice cream. Neapolitan, is it? No, I don't think it is it? Near something, in it? Neonatal? No, that's babies, isn't it? Right, well, I don't think it's that. So I'm just adding water. I'm not being too clever with blending because I don't really have to be. If you don't use too much water, the chances of bleeding aren't that big. So I'm going to use a bit of the green now. I'm going to pop the green in between those spaces. So that would be nice there. You stick with 3s. Now this pink I've got is Maud something. Mortem. That's it, Mortem. And it's like a strange, let me show it you. It's like a strange pink. I absolutely love it, but it's not for everyone's taste. You've really got to wet it though. So just, I've been dipping my brush in and it's in one of the parts that haven't got any water. Sod's law. I'm going to take some water out of that. It's too. Oh, that noise is. It's weird. So here we've got all the colours. So we need to look at these. So we've got this one, and this one, which might mean I will need a grey. Now I'm using a shaded one I've made. It's a green grey, which, believe it or not, there's hundreds of greys. Trust the process, honestly. Trust the process. Now on that, it looks too grainy, that. So I'm going to add a cream section. And this is yarn, brilliant yarn. And see that pink? It's a very strange colour. So not unless you want that colour, because it granulates so much. I love it. To me, it's got lots of character, but you might not want that. So I'm going to go over with some more just to bring some depth in areas, not all over. Okay, so happy with that? Yeah, sort of. Now what I'm going to do, move it over, and that one's more or less dry now because you don't need a lot of water without Ecoline. So that one's more or less. So while that one's drying, I can come on to this one. And I'm looking at the shapes I've been using. So I'm just going to go with simple. I'm going to do the lines first. So we've got that pattern really made use of. I've really had to slow down with this. Because I've been showing how scruffy that you do get if you don't take time. You know how you don't sort of really do what you're supposed to do with this, and that's chill and relax. Here, I'm using the scratches from the paint brush, which was the fan brush. So it creates wonderful patterns that you can just add. So I'll just carry on and can you see that how it's just I love that. So you can see it's just a very simple pattern, almost like a wood grain, but it's using, well, you know, using the colour and the pattern that's built up to its advantage. So here I've got a really nice pattern that that I quite like, and it's quite an intricate pattern. I use it as squares, but you can use it as diamonds. And it's just one after the other like that. And then the next one would be just make sure you finish it off. Because it can sort of be the difference between it looking, you know, handmade and homemade. Here I've made the idea that it's getting bigger and bigger. Didn't plan on it, but you know. Now what I'm going to do in a minute, I'll show you with the different colours. To this side, do you know what? I can't see you. Let's have a look. Who's there? The Hoover. I can't believe you're choosing the Hoover over me. Whoa, Linda. How? Oh, what? Oh, I'm only joking. Sometimes you've got to for your own sanity, haven't you? You've got to do it. So simple circles with a circle around them, you know, do on and off ones so it sort of patterns it up. Here we'll just do flicks. Flowers. Like that. So that's that pattern. I think just to add pattern, I think the continuity works really well. So, and then let's look at the last one, which is on my pattern, which is, it's like a vermicelli. And it's like a, you can't see, that's really helpful. And you sort of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Now I'm using the side of the pen, so what I'm getting is a finer registration so that you can see. It's, otherwise my thumb's in the way, my finger's in the way. I'll do it this way. I mean, it is a scribble, but it's a nice scribble. Right, so we've got that. Looks pretty mad. Cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some bronzes and stuff in. So I've got my wonderful paint set that I got from my wonderful girly girlies. I think it was about 3 years ago now for my birthday. My paints. And I'm just going to go in. I'm going to do something really fine. I'm just going to take the colours I need. And I'm just going to sort of enhance this. So I'm thinking now the opposite of these colours would probably bring them to life, but I don't want to do that. What I want to do today is sort of keep tonal colours. So I'm going to use other colours that are on here. Now, these are all on the list in the description that people want to use. The paint, everything, it's all on there. Maybe not this watercolour, but I can easily put that on. So if anybody wants to know what I'm using, it's there. So the next colour is going to be a lighter colour. Just need a little bit more water on that. So I'm choosing basically tonal work here. You know, it's gone from quite bright to being quite toned down. There's nothing nicer than, you know, seeing a piece of work that no one else will ever have because it's yours, because you took it from something and made something. You know, it's just, you're like, wow, did I do that? And the answer is, yeah, you did. So now I'm going to choose a bit of the bronzy colour, and I'm just doing the bronze there. Just to explain, I did use a waterproof pen. So I'm not worried about too much bleeding. Is it raining again? I'm sick of the rain. I'm just going to add a few in the spaces that are left. Just going to add just three little ones. Nothing special because, oh, what have I missed? Oh, sorry. I don't even look. I don't look. I'm too busy faffing with this. So here, I might just leave that because I don't think that needs much more. So on this one, I'm just, this is that's quite a plain abstraction. On this one, I'm going to go a little bit more. I'm going to need to dry it. think this might be okay to work. You can always tell because it's puckered on the back. It's all puckered on back, so there we go. Now, I'm looking at this and I don't want to do too much work to it because the colours are nice and I just don't think I need much. So what I'm going to do here is so we've got a pattern coming across, so it's got to be careful when it's abstracted this. It doesn't always look great at straight at the beginning, so you have to be ready to change it at and this is from the grain of the gills, believe it or not, on the fish, the jellyfish. So here I'm just going to use a wiggly line, which is a big sort of circle coming back on itself. I'm just going to use this and put a little bit stuff there. Three lines, three wiggles. They look quite good because they all connect. I like the idea of doing that around the edge as well because that makes it look like stitching. So I think I'll join that one. There we go. I like that. It sort of looks like satin stitch. So here, let me think of scallops. I'm terrible at this. Scallops, they end up really nice. They start really nice and they end up like, oh. So the reason for that is I don't take my time. So I start and they start quite nice at about a couple of millimeters each, and then they end up 2 foot each, like the cat's dragged them in. So I have to sort of slow down. I'm going to do another bit here, but this time it's going to be 3. So it's more like a shell. Quite like that one, so I might use that again. And we've got one here which is just circles like that, nothing too. Right, so here I think I love this shape that we've got here. Making like a mandala effect. Nothing too fancy, but you can add your own pattern to it if you wish. So there we go, just some pointillism in it. And then that's a terrible line, so make it terrible. You know what that means, don't you? So I'm going to change that over now, and I'm going to get in this weather. It's sickening, isn't it? It's that dark here. Nothing too fancy. But we can see that circle. As my lovely friend Emma says, when they don't work, just give them a really light tickle. There we go. So I'm going to get the spot it. Right, so again, I'm picking the colours that are suitable for this. So I've got a darker pink. And this is a metallic pink, so it will highlight areas and it will also hide any mistakes, which is quite a lot. So all I'm doing is using the layers that we had underneath, and then I'm using the layers that we're putting on top, using different products, using paints and different things to try. I've got some beautiful paints to try from Highlight Crafts. I'm really looking forward to that because I've not used them before. I hadn't used them before, sorry, and I'm really impressed with them. And you know what I'm like. They might be cheap, they might be dear, it don't matter. It's whether they're good. I don't want people spending lots of money. So far they've passed all my tests, which is cool. Right, so here I'm going to add a little bit. Might be a little bit too much. I might just take the white down a little bit. I'll leave the white there. I'll go over the white here. Like that. And then what I might do is just bring that line through so that it's not using my rigger brush. I should really. Right here, really simple. If you've got a ball tool, it works even better. It's almost anonymous, this, but it's nice. It sort of gives it that really lovely hidden depth. I'm just going to go. I need a little bit more water on this green because at the moment it's not behaving. I'm going to put metallic on all of that because I think it deserves it. And then a bit on here. Not all, just some. So we've got all that. We've got our black, white, some black and white. We've got some golds and silvers on. So we're just going to take a look at the other one again now and just say, right, okay, is there anything that I want to change? And there isn't really. I mean, I could put a little bit of that on there. I quite like this one as it is. I could go over that if I wanted with little bits. And I quite like that one. I like that. I like that. So I'm going to lift you up a tiny bit so that we can see the reveal. So I'm going to leave these for my next one. So this is simple abstraction. When you take an element from another element and then enlarge it and make a picture from it. So you're abstracting an area and building it up to make another one. And I'll show you the others I've done for my Patreon. It's done quite a few. I think there's 2 hours of film there for you. I did it all yesterday. So there we go. Let's have a quick look. No, I'm not showing it you all. No, not showing you. Oh, for God's sake. Get undone. Why does it curl up like that? Why does masking tape curl up? Right. So we've got, perhaps I could use a little bit more glitz on this, and I think I might. I think I might, once it's dry, get the pen on it. Yeah, really identify that now, because it looked really nondescript, like I say, really anonymous. So, you know, get it as a feature. That's miles better. Be as light or as dark as you want. There we go. And we've got, basically, in an hour, not even an hour, we've been able to bring the abstraction. So we got the piece of work. Let me just get it and go through what we did today. What we did today, we got one of the pieces I did. We cut out some viewing holes, and I sort of put it on the area that I liked. And we did this one somewhere down here like that. Right, so we copied that one onto the big page, and we got that one there. So we got that, which is an enlargement of it. Sorry, let's put it back on. I could have copied the pattern, but I chose not to. I chose to change it. We used Ecoline with water. We used some as a palette on here, some as a paint on a palette here, and then we used it dry and straight on. And then the other one was another one that I did where it was mimicking another piece that I'd already done. So I'd put on, and don't forget, you can also do that. So we did that one like that, and then I can put that on it as well. So I could do one, and then I could go along and put that on the top. So that could end up being used from that. So you basically got the use of all these different ideas. Very little work, but very worthwhile. So I'll just go through the ones I've done. So here's the two wonderful browns and mochas and oranges, lovely colours. Then we've got the Neapolitans, which I really love again, the greens. These reminds me of roses, colours like that. And again, got the bronzes on, and they're very sort of translucent. When you see them on there, you don't see the impact, and then some more patterning on it. I've got one that's starting to be coloured, so that's what it looks like, start to draw on it. And the next one is what we did today. So all those small elements of drawings, I mean, either way you look at them, you can turn them around and say, right, well, I do like them like that. Would that work with those two either side? Yes, they would. Or could I have a triptych where I have 2 and a 1? So you've got those 2 and another one above it. You get me? So you could, this might work actually. So this one and then the one I did today would work with them. And I've got a series of 3. So yes, absolutely. You've got a series then. Or what you wanted to do, you could then get this one, get your viewfinder and blow that bit up. So you've got all these different pieces of work from existing work that you have done, and you're also moodling at the same time, which is giving you lots of TLC. We need it at the moment. There's some strange atmospheres going around, isn't there? A lot of people I know are not well. A lot of people are very close to me are poorly, and it's like, wow, I want to send them big hugs and everything, because it's a really weird time at the moment. So I'm going to love you and leave you there. If you want to become a Patreon, you can get this 2-hour video where I go through how I've made all these free, well, for the paid Patreons, and you'll be able to see it as well with all the other stuff and the PDF. And the PDF is very thorough. It's one of my drawings, and it's got sections of one of my jellyfish that you can recreate and do your own. And it is a really useful little tool, that seeing something cut up for you to use. So I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to say a big thank you to everybody as always. It is now, so I will see you hopefully at the weekend, and I'm going to give you all the next installment. And my Patreons will be working towards a 3-dimensional version of our jellyfish, which will be like I did the card version. That might be a bit of stitching, might not, might be a bit fabric, might not. But anyway, I will love you and leave you. I'll give you a nod when I'm on next. Can you all try and watch on Facebook, because then I get me viewing up, and that means your logarithms or algorithms or your pogo rhythms or whatever they are goes up. And I will see you soon. So I will send you lots of love and say ta-da! Ta-da! You all right, Army?